Hi, welcome back to Marketing Mondays. Today we're going to be talking about content planning. One of the things that we do here at Anaplan when we're looking at content planning is we actually use the Anaplan platform ourselves. So what I wanted to do was give you an introduction into how we leverage that and talk through about some of the things that we use for planning. What you can see here is we have a content inventory dashboard. And we can see some of the key capabilities that we're trying to look at, and filter by what type of line of business it is, the type of content that we might be looking at, who the owner is, the status of the content. And we use this really as a tracker for all of our content globally. So if I'm looking in our sales line of business and I'm looking at any third-party reports that we might have live right now, I can simply do that, filter the content inventory, and now I can see all of those reports that are live. Another thing that we've done, which is pretty unique and pretty impressive, is we leverage a thing that we call soundbite. So if I'm looking at a particular document, a particular third-party report, what I can do is I can see that status, but I can also see a very detailed content narrative. And we actually have a weekly meeting we call Content Council, where all of the global marketing team join, and we're able to talk about new content that's coming up and how we might want to leverage that across the field. It's very much an agile stand-up meeting that allows us to really communicate to the broader audience in our organization about what content is coming out and how we might like to leverage that. And so with the content narrative, which talks about how we want to message and communicate that particular piece of content, and then using our soundbites capability, which is to take some key elements of that document, and we can then provide that information to our audience marketing and demand generation teams, as well as to our social media teams, so they know what type of key insights this paper holds without having to go through the details. Now, as a product marketer myself, what this allows me to do is to create those sound bites and really allow my team to not have to worry about the technical details of what they're trying to communicate and the audience they're trying to communicate to. Very difficult for our organization as we're communicating to numerous buyers to understand each of the nuances. So we try and highlight these sound bites for our social teams, for our audience marketing teams, as to the key elements of what's in a particular paper. And we can see that we can do that, and that allows them to create nice quotable pieces of content within social media and within our emails and demand generation activities. You can see, in this narrative, we try and talk about what the paper can do, what the audience is going to learn from that. And that's just a quick way for us to understand how to communicate that to our broader audience. We can see for every piece of content how many sound bites, some other pertinent information about what industry it's for, the main use case, and what stage, whether it's gated or whether it's co-branded, and a link to the published asset. With the stages, what that allows us to do is to create a content journey. And so when I look at my sales content, I can see what is in various parts of my content journey, so I can identify gaps. So that's really how we use a content inventory here at Anaplan, using Anaplan, how we create sound bites with that, and introduction into our Content Council group. What we'd like to talk about in future is how do we plan for all of that content. So thanks for stopping by, and look forward to speaking to you soon.